Alright, this video has been created to help show students how to use the LearnSmart Study Module, which is part of McGraw-Hill Connect. So you should go to your Blackboard homepage where you log in. So I have my username and password that is the same as I use for my KCTCS email, and I log into my account. Once I log in, yours is not going to look like this, but this has all my classes. So we'll choose the 120 class, the Joy Chemistry. So this is the Joy of Chemistry homepage, and you'll see the most recent announcement. Over here on the left, you have a homepage, announcement, syllabus, LearnSmart Study Module, Connect assignments, Connect quizzes, Connect exams. So let's click on the LearnSmart Study Modules. And what you'll see here is what study modules are currently available. And you'll see due dates. So for my Chem 120 class right now, they are at this point, Chapter 3, the Chemistry of Global Climate Change. So I'll click on that. Hit continue. Now yours is going to look different than this. But let me do something before we actually start this. This is something I keep talking about in class, and I think it's really important. And you should do this anytime before you take a quiz or an exam. But down here at the bottom it says Troubleshooting, and that should show up on your page as well. Click on that. That'll pop up a page that looks like this. Alright. And when you run this, it'll tell you, is your computer compatible with Blackboard Connect? So it says yes, it is compatible. I get all green checks. So that tells me the computer is up to date and that it will run Connect correctly. And again, if there was something, the most common problem is this. The pop-up windows is not allowed. It'll say not allowed. And you would go up here and click something to allow. Now, what this is talking about is this Java Deployment Toolkit. There has been problems with Java. You can continue blocking it or allow, and you'll see this. I still see this on mine. I sometimes just say allow. I don't think it has any problem with it. But again, if one of these is not in a green check mark, then click Troubleshoot again. It'll run through it again, and it should make sure it's all green checks before you move on. If you'll do that, you should not have any problems with any of the modules, whether it's the LearnSmart modules, the Connect assignments, or the Connect quizzes. But it's really important that you do this, and I've observed where I tell my students to do this before an exam, especially my proctored exam students, and a lot of them don't. And what it will cause is those pop-ups that come up in especially the assignments and the quizzes where you have to use the ChemDraw palette to like put a subscript or a superscript or a charge. That won't pop up sometimes. And then when we start to use ChemDraw to actually draw chemical structures, it won't show up there as well. And that's a big one, because then you're going, well, how am I supposed to draw structure when I don't see anything? Another common thing I see here is sometimes your screen resolution is not correct. If the screen resolution is not correct, you may not see the full Connect assignment. And so make sure this part's got a green check as well. All right, so this is just part of it. Make sure you do this. It's under troubleshooting. Once it's done, you can close out of that, and then we're going to start here. So yours is this is what yours is going to look like when you open up the LearnSmart Study Module. Now notice it loaded up right there. That's important that you see it load up. All right. So what's neat, I really think this LearnSmart module is so helpful to students. And what I think is so neat about it is it shows you a chapter outline so you can see what each section's about. And the whole reason why I have this is I've seen a huge increase in grades and student comprehension of the material by using the LearnSmart Study Module. So what does it do for you? Well, it encourages you to read the book. So to read this particular chapter, chapter 3, and then it's going to test you on, did you comprehend what you read? So many times I see students say, yeah, I read the book, and then they can't answer the questions at the end of the chapter, or they keep flipping back through the chapter to find the answer. That's not learning the material. That's not comprehending it. It's not called learning until it changes your behavior. That's what learning. I'm actually working on some education courses, and that's my definition of learning. It's not learning till it changes your behavior. All right. So what we're hoping out of this chapter 3 is that at the end of this chapter, you're going to have definite opinions about global climate change. So you hear people say, no, there's no global climate change, that we're just going through a cycle on the earth. And then other people saying, oh, we have global warming and that the earth is really warming up, and we're going to see disastrous consequences of that. Well, hopefully at the end of this chapter, you will have an opinion about it, and that you can speak about that opinion. Whether it's occurring or not, why it's occurring, what can we do to change it. All right? And that's a big portion right there. What can we do to change it if you believe it is occurring? So this module is to help you determine whether you're comprehending what's being presented, and that at the end you can tell me what this chapter is about for like a quiz or an exam. So you can preview it. The advantage of the preview is that you can see the different sections and what you're supposed to get out of each section. So a lot of times when I read something for a textbook, it says so if we look at this section 3.1, in the greenhouse, Earth's energy balance. So my question is after I read section 3.1, I generally change these titles or subtitles into questions. So what is Earth's energy balance? That's what I should get out of this. At the end of section 3.1, I should be able to tell you what Earth's energy balance is. And then what's the testimony of time gathering evidence that there is a global climate change? Or, again, may or may not be, but you at least looked at some of the data here. All right. Section 3, the main thing here is, you're going to talk about different molecules that contribute to our climate, but you're also going to have to be able to draw these molecular structures using Lewis dot theory. So Lewis dot theory, there's actually a video on this on my YouTube website, Professor Chemistry. You can watch it. There's about 3 or 4 different ones dealing with Lewis dot structures. So that's what you're going to learn out of section 3.3, and that's one of the major concepts, chemical concepts that we're going to cover in this chapter. So you can actually read the book if you want to.
Reading with SmartBook helps you put emphasis on the critical paragraphs first. These critical paragraphs are highlighted in yellow. While you read, SmartBook will monitor your progress and collect relevant questions for you. Sometimes you'll notice that the practice icon has started to glow. That means SmartBook thinks it's a good time for you to practice what you have read. But it's your choice. You can ignore this and keep reading if you prefer. There is no penalty.
All right, so you can read this book electronically. In fact, I'm starting to see quite a few students not purchase the paper copy of the book. They use the SmartBook. So you can read this electronically, and it will flag when you need to maybe try some of the questions out to see if you're comprehending what you're reading. So some people do it this way. Other people, they like to read continuously, or they like to read and then do the problems, not stop in the middle and do problems. So that's what this practice is. So we might see up here, it says practice what you've learned. And this is what I'm expecting in the course, is that this is what the LearnSmart Study Module
You've answered all of the questions relevant to the topics you've read about so far.
All right.
You can continue to practice if you want to, but if you do, you'll get questions about sections you haven't read yet.
All right, so this is what's so great about the LearnSmart Study Module. They have a question here. There are exactly blank times 10 to the 23rd atoms and 12 grams of carbon-12. Given to two places after the decimal, this number is called what? All right. So what they expect here is that you look at that question, and then you go down here and you decide, yeah, I know it, I think I know it, not sure, no idea. So if you have no idea what the answer is, that's definitely a red flag. That's why it's in red. That's a red flag to say you haven't understood what you were supposed to comprehend out of section 3.1, or, well, whatever part of the chapter this is in. All right. So, and they do progress linearly through the chapter, so I assume this one's out of 3.1. All right. If you're unsure, I mean, if you're choosing one of these two, that tells you haven't comprehended what you've read, and you need to definitely go back and read it. All right. And I would just stop right here, and I would go back and read the entire section. I wouldn't pick and choose, because bottom line is you've got to comprehend all the material that's in that section. And it's not hard. It's a small section. And the key is to do a little each day. I think what I see from just looking at the grade book, a lot of you are not starting on the LearnSmart Study Module till the day it's due. Like it's due Tuesday night at 11 p.m., you're starting at Tuesday night at 8 p.m. and you're trying to do the LearnSmart Study Module and the assignment and the quiz all before 11 p.m. In fact, I see some people do the quiz first before they even do the assignment or the LearnSmart Study Module. Okay, we'll just call it LSM from now. All right, so you're defeating the whole purpose of the education. I mean, I wouldn't put this in. It's not busy work. I really do see if the student does this, if they read the book and then answer the questions, they know then I understand or I don't understand what I've read. And if you don't understand what you've read after a couple of times reading it, email me and I will make a video of it. Or, during office hours, we can actually sit down and discuss it. But I think this thing works very well, and the students I see use it correctly, their grades do improve. All right. So when we get to these two choices here, I know it and think so. Hopefully you can say I know it. But what's great about the LSM is that you say I know it. All right. And then you're going to put your answer in here. Now read it carefully. It says there are exactly blank number of atoms in 12 grams of carbon-12. This is a really important definition. This is what sets the whole periodic table up as far as masses go. So they say, this is where I see some students miss this. It says given to two places after the decimal. All right. So two places after the decimal, I'm going to put in 6.02. That's two places after the decimal. The 0 and 2 are after the decimal. All right. And then down here, what's it called? Avogadro. All right. Avogadro's number. All right. All right. So we have the number to two places after the decimal. We have Avogadro's number. And we're going to submit our answer. All right. So your answer is correct. That tells me that I've comprehended what I've read. Now, if you have to go back and look at the chapter, go back in the chapter, get in your book or electronic copy and look at it to find this answer, you haven't comprehended the material. And the whole thing about this class is to appreciate chemistry, to learn how it's in your everyday life, and to know enough of it when you leave this class. You could go on to the next class, like the Chemistry 140 class, which is Introduction to General Chemistry, or Introductory General Chemistry. So we start at a very solid foundation here. We're going to work our way up through some chemical concepts in Chemistry 120, and you'll be prepared for the next class. And it's also teaching you how to learn. This way of learning that they're showing here applies to every class that you take. You look at the chapter, you look at the sections within the chapter, make questions about those sections. That tells you what you're supposed to get out of that chapter. Then answer those questions in the back of that chapter about that particular section. And again, if you can answer them without looking back and get the correct answer, then you comprehend it. You know it. Nobody can take that away from you. And that's what's cool about education. Once you learn it, it's yours forever. You keep it. And yeah, maybe sometime you forget some of it, but it'll come back much quicker than if you've never been exposed to it. All right? So you go through these items. Now here is where I think the students really get the shock, is that to do the LearnSmart Study Module, it's only worth 10 points in my course. So it's not the points I'm really interested in, but there's 76 items done. There's 76 items in this chapter. So if you wait till the night before it's due, the chances of you getting through all 76 items and the assignment and the quiz between 8 and 11 o'clock is going to be pretty minimal. So the intent of the LSM is to do a little each day. And so you're not going to do 76 in one setting. You're going to do maybe 10 in a setting. That'd be 7 days. Well, in the summer school, you're going to have to read more than that, right? Maybe hopefully in summer school, this is the only class you're taking, and you can focus all your time on this class. So for summer school, I would say you need to read, about 25 a day. Gives you 3 days. That's about what we're doing, a chapter every 3 days. All right? So as you go through these, you'll see this bar go down, and every time you hit submit, it records the answer. There's no submit at the end. It's just every time you submit, it shows how much more you can go. If you leave, when you come back, it should start at the place where you left off. All right? I hope that answers your questions about the LearnSmart Study Module. If it doesn't, then email me, and I'll be glad to meet with you, or I can talk with you to show you how to use this. But again, it's really important that you do this. It's not busy work. It is to help you gauge your comprehension of the material required to be successful, not only on the assignments, but especially the quizzes and the exams. Thank you.